the Kenner Star Wars Boba Fett. Many of us waited by the mailbox as kids to get this thing, and we couldn't wait to get it so we could shoot the rocket off. But we got it, and a letter that said the rocket didn't shoot off. The rocket didn't even come out. Well, for some kids, it did. Welcome back to the Junk Room, everybody. It's me, the Junkman, coming back at you with another video about Boba Fett. That's right, another video about Boba Fett. Now, I'm not going to tell you that, yes, Kenner did release a rocket-firing Boba Fett. My sister's cousin's roommate, sister-in-law, nephew has it. No. Or I had a friend that had a dad that worked at Kenner and he brought one. No, I'm not going to tell you that. But a Boba Fett was released with a rocket that was removable. That's right, it didn't shoot out. There was no spring action, no little trigger. But for some lucky kids, you could get Boba Fett, take it out of the package, and at least pull the rocket out. Play with the rocket more than just glued in there, melted in there. That thing's not coming out, believe me. I used to pull on it with some pliers. It's not coming out unless you want to break it. I know. Well, why don't you boil it and open it and you can get it out there? Okay, well, I was a kid. But down in Mexico, the company Lily Ladd, I hope I pronounced that right. I never was sure about that. But anyway, Lily Ladd, I'll say that for the video, released Boba Fett. Now, like most of them, the rocket was glued in. Didn't come out. But sometimes, some lucky kid would get it, and the rocket could just pull out. Now, you had to kind of turn it left or right, get it to pull out. Didn't just fall out when you turned it upside down. But can you believe there was one that had a rocket that came out? A lot of people don't know why. In fact, even in the collector's community, no one really knew about this thing until around 2003 when a book came out all about the figures from Mexico. I even searched on the Star Wars news groups. You know, those go back into the 80s and could find no one talking about it. 2003 is about the earliest I know of anyone talking about the removable rocket. Now here's the question. Is it a removable? Is it a figure that comes with a removable rocket? Or is it just a variant? Is it an era figure? We don't actually know why the figure has a rocket that comes out when most of them don't. My theory is that they got the mold and everything of the figure, and you know, there's changes with it not shooting off. They probably shipped some just to get them on the market and probably said, well, we'll glue in the rocket later, or they just threw it in there. I don't know what happened. So I guess it is technically a variant, but it's more than one. It's not like it was just a one-time thing. And they're pretty rare today. But I don't have one to show you, so let's look at some pictures I gathered around the internet. Let's take a look. Again, the figure is mostly the same mold, but it is a different, darker blue than the one released in the US. When it comes to Star Wars figures, depending on where they were made, there's a lot of variants in color, besides just all the different crazy hair colors Luke and Obi-Wan had. Now again, being that this is Boba Fett, and a rare one even in the Lily Ladd line, you can guarantee it's worth money. A lot of collectors want it, and like anything else collectors want, it's faked a lot. Because all you really have to do is find one of the Lily Ladd figures, get the rocket out, and then you can say, hey, look, I got one with a removable rocket. The big difference between the regular Lily Ladd Boba Fett and the removable rocket Fett is, of course, the rocket. On the regular Boba Fett, the tab of the rocket is inserted on a hole, and another tab holds firmly the rocket inside the figure. After a welding process, everything melts a bit, so there's no way to take it out without damaging the figure and the rocket. So the one with the removable rocket has no melt marks on it. On the regular Boba Fett, a mold line on the rocket is horizontal aligned to the shoulder, but on the Lily Ladd removable rocket Boba Fett, the mold line on the rocket is not horizontally aligned to the shoulders. The rocket that comes with the Boba Fett that comes out was inserted after the welding process. The rocket should not have any sign of melting or blue marks on it. The blue mark comes from the contact between the rocket and the interlining tab of the front torso. If you find marks on the opposite side of the tab, you have a rocket that was removed from a regular Lily Ladd Boba Fett. The rocket hole on the back of the Boba Fett must look clean with no melting or marks inside. Again, being that some consider this a factory error, Some grading companies will not grade it. I know back in 2013, AFA wouldn't grade one, as they considered it a factory mistake. However, that's been some time ago, and maybe they've changed their mind since then, as I know other companies will grade it. Now, these figures come up on eBay every now and then, goes for thousands of dollars. Every once in a while, you might get lucky and find one cheap, but and when I say cheap, I mean in the hundreds, but then it's probably a fake, to be honest with you. You've got to really know what you're looking at. If you just see one laying in a box somewhere and the rocket falls out when you pick it up, you got a fake one. Now you're saying, but Junkman, my cousin's friend, roommate, sister's dog had one, and the rocket actually shot off. Well, maybe they had this Boba Fett. Released, I think around 2011, 10, somewhere, correct me if I'm wrong, but this one does fire off. It's a retro figure released by Hasbro, a mail-in. You had to mail it, and look how long this rocket is. Doesn't make any sense right there. But the Lily Lad Boba Fett does come with a removable rocket. Kind of neat, right? And finding it on card is hard, but you can find Lily Lad Boba Fett on card, but it's kind of hard to tell if it comes out by just looking at the card, because you do have to turn and twist it. But if you study the figure long enough, you can point it out. Anyway, that's a look at the time a company did release a Boba Fett with a removable rocket. Didn't shoot off, but hey, I guess you could have sling it like that and send it across the room. So in a way, I guess it did shoot off. Just shot off without a spring action. You just had to poof, and you could put out Timmy's eye with it. Oh, well, this was released in Mexico, so I guess you could put out Jesus's eye. Makes more sense, I guess. Anyway, did you know about this? Do you have it in your collection? Well, let me know that and more in the comments below. Until the next video, we'll talk again.
Hey, Junkman channel popping though.
Thank you, sir, for that unsolicited testimony.